Namo Namaha. Sarvebhya Namaskar. Today we will start a fresh topic from our Vice President Sanaatana Dharma, Visalakshi garu. This is on Astadasha Upacharalu. Now we will start with Vande Mataram from Sisi Babu. Then we will have Prarthana from Vandanaji, and then we'll have the session. Let us all stand up and sing Vande Mataram. I request all of you to sing and mute your mics.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malaya Jasitalam, Tasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Supratyosna pulakitayamini Pullakusumita drumadala sobhini Suhasini Sumadhura bhashini Sukhadam varadam mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram. Namaskaram.
Dhanyawada Babu garu. Now let's have Prarthana. Vandanaji, please start. You can mute now.
She has to unmute. She is on mute.
Padmasana Devi Shweta Pushpopashobhita Shvetambardhara Nitya Shweta Gandhanulepana.
Actually, the Prarthana I could not hear. Could you, anybody of you hear properly?
No, there was a problem on the audio.
Audio, Vandana ji, आपका audio ठीक नहीं है. अच्छा, let's have somebody else to do Prarthana. Anaya, can you do it? I will unmute you 1 minute.
शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्य देवो भव अतिथि देवो भव। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम।
धन्यवादः. Now let us have Visalakshi ji to start the session, please.
ओम श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः. ओम श्री पार्वती राजराजेश्वराभ्यां नमः. ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ओम श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः. ओम शिवाय गुरवे नमः. ओम नमः शिवायै च नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. विघ्नेश्वरं विघ्नशान्त्यै वाणीं वाचः प्रवृत्तये गुरून् गूढार्थभानाय प्रणमामि न पुनः पुनः. योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. सभायै नमः. Dear participants and dear students, today onwards we are trying to know about Shodasa Samskaras for 5 days. Every day at the end of the class, I will ask some questions from the topics that we cover that day. But today, if time is there, I will ask. Otherwise, tomorrow in the beginning, I will ask the questions from the topics we cover today. And all of you try to answer one by one, because at the end of the course, you will have to write the test for all the topics that have been covered by all the teachers in these 3 months Sanaatana Dharma course. And according that in our Shodasa Samskaras, you have to answer 21 questions, multiple choice questions. Now, exam paper is for 20 marks and 20 questions you have to answer, but you have to answer 21 questions, so that suppose one question's answer is wrong, or suppose you do not know the answer for one question, then one wrong answer will be treated as choice. So you try to answer all 21 at the end of the course when the authorities conduct the exam. If all of you write all the questions, that is well and good, and we can appreciate all of you for your knowledge you got in the Shodasa Samskaras after listening to this class. There are 48 samskaras or 40 samskaras according to Gautama Maharshi. Different sages mentioned a little different. Out of them, we all are following Shodasa samskaras, 16 samskaras. Even in them, there are differences. Some say these 16 samskaras are like this. That is, it is given in a shloka. Garphathanam pumsavanam seemantonayanam tatha jata nama anna chaula monji vrata chatushtayam godanakyam snatakam cha vivaham paitrumethikam shodasaitani karmani samantarayet tataha. Garphathana, Pumsavana, Seemantonayanam, then Jata Karma, Namakarana, Annaprasana, Chaula Karma, Upanayana Samskara, then Prajapatya Vrata, Saumya Vrata, Agneya Vrata, Vaishwadeva Vrata, Godana Vrata, then Snataka Vrata, Panigrahana, and Anchesti, Pitrumethikam. Now, out of these, some other Maharshis, they clubbed these Prajapatya Vrata, Saumya Vrata, Agneya Vrata, and Vaishwadeva Vrata as Veda Vratas. Veda Vratas and Brahma Vratas. So all these 4 together is one, and we are following that method in our course. Now, mostly all of us follow Apastampa Gruhya Sutras. But there are some other Dharma Shastras, so many Dharma Shastras, Gruhya Shastra, Granthas are there, which speak a little different, with a little different. Some more samskaras are added to the above said these samskaras also. And some others are clubbed as one samskara. Now we will try to know all these Shodasa samskaras in detail in our course. Before that, today, just I want to give the gist of these Shodasa samskaras, just a little. Each one in one line or two lines, I will introduce you about the Shodasa samskaras, and then we can proceed. Actually, samskara means purification, purification of body, mind, and jivatma. Purifying from one's past state of our life to future state. Gruhya Sutra speak of these 16 samskaras, which we are following now. Now, Garbhadhana is the first samskara. It is performed just after the marriage to purify the womb of the bride to become worthy of getting a good progeny. Along with the Vara and Vathu both sit and both will be purified physically and mentally and Jivapara. To make the womb ready to conceive with Vedic mantras, the importance is given to the bride there. Now, second Pumsavanam, that is a ritual conducted at the 3rd month of pregnancy with the wish of making the embryo the male child. Then third one is Simantam or Srimanta as we say, and Simantonayanam. Most important ritual celebrated before the birth of the child to protect the mother and to be born child, wishing normal delivery. This Simantam would be celebrated as a festival and gives happiness to the pregnant lady. These three are called as the prenatal samskaras. Now, start the childhood samskaras. When the child is born, this 4th samskara is Jata Karma. It starts just before the birth of the baby, birth of the child, and just after the birth of the baby. The father gives several danas, donations and danas, before Jata Ashaucha comes to him. And on the 11th day, after that Puriti Snana, we say, after the holy bath, auspicious bath, they conduct Jata Karma. Jata Ashaucha will be gone by that time. Now, 5th samskara is Namakarana, naming the child. This is performed mostly on the 11th day or 21st day. And along with this, parents celebrate cradle ceremony also by keeping the child in the cradle. Now, Nishkramana, the 6th samskara is taking the child out to the Yajnashala for the first time, bringing the child out of the house to get him adjusted and slowly accustomed to the nature and outside world society. Then 7th is Annaprasana, to make the child swallow something other than mother's milk and keeping the Paramanam on the tongue of the child. Along with this, parents celebrate an entertainment of Vastu Pradarshana and allowing the child to touch anything crawling there, which may indicate the future of the child, in which profession the child may be going. Then Chuda Karma is the 8th samskara. Chuda Karma is also called as Chaula Samskara. This is removing the hair of the baby that comes to the baby at the time of the birth. Puttu ventrikalu we say, to remove that. Now, 9th one is Karnavedha, ear piercing. This is the samskara which is really very important from the point of view of health, they say. Along with it, they make the girl baby childs to, that is the nose piercing also, along with the ear piercing. Ear piercing will be done to both girls and boys. Then nose piercing will be for girls. 10th one is Aksharabhyasa, making the child read and write the letters for the first time. It is most sublime samskara, which is very much needed for all human beings. 11th one is Upanayana samskara, the most sacred and secret samskara, where Brahmopadesha would be done by, to the child by his father, Guru, who makes him wear Yajnopavita. This samskara brings the child to the Guru, Acharya, who makes him get the real knowledge and teaches him and preaches him about the Laukika knowledge, Paravidya and Aparavidya also, Brahmavidya also. By this, the child becomes, from this onwards, after this samskara, the boy becomes Brahmachari. Now, 12th one is Samavartana or Snataka Samskara. This is third samskara or the function conducted after the student completes his education. This would be conducted by the Acharya, the Guru, who teaches him, who permits him, the Brahmachari, to stop Brahmacharya Vrata and then enter into Grihasthasrama. Now, 13th samskara is Keshanta samskara or Godana Vrata, as we call. This is the samskara of removing the hair that grows on the cheeks and chin of the boy. At that time, he has to donate a milky cow with the calf to his Acharya. So it is called as Godana Vrata. Similarly, a sort of samskara is performed and celebrated when girl becomes mature. Then 14th samskara is Veda Vratas or Brahma Yajnas, we can say. This is the samskara performed before the marriage of Brahmachari while in Brahmacharya Ashrama at Gurukula. This would be conducted for 4 years, these yajnas. This is called as observing the Veda Vratas. Certain yajnas, the Guru will make the Brahmachari perform them. And it takes 4 years time for the student. Each yajna, each vrata takes 1 year time to completely educate that and study and understand that and practice. Then 5th one is the most important samskara, Vivaha samskara, celebrating marriage to Vadhu and Vara and bringing them into Grihasthasrama, the best out of 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. This is the most important samskaras because this Grihasthasrama, that is those who are in Grihasthasrama have to feed and maintain the other 3 ashramas. And this Grihasthasrama is very pious and important also because it keeps the lineage, the dynasty and the Vamsha and the family prolong and live long. Now, last one is Anchesti Samskara. This is the last rites done to a person by his son when he or she leaves the body. Thus, samskaras would be performed by the grandmothers and grandfathers, celebrate the first 3 samskaras. Then later, the mother and father celebrate to their children when they are babies and also grow to youth. Then the teacher Acharya celebrates a certain samskara. And lastly, the son performs the last rites. Now let us know what is meant by samskara and all the samskaras one by one. Today we will try to explain at least 5 samskaras out of 16. The word samskaram is formed from the root kru, to do, with the upasarga samyak means good. Samyak karanameva samskaranam. To do good is samskaranam. So samskaram means purifying. It is removing the sins and defects that exist in the chitta, in the mind, in the chitta, and coming along with jiva successively from several births. It is called as samskara. The word samskara appears in Rigveda mantras and Jaimini Purvamimamsa sutras, and also later in many Gruhya sutras explained about these samskaras in detail. Samskaras are rituals related to Agama Shastra. These Shodasa Samskaras are done to the Jiva, starting from before the birth of the Jiva, continuing at several stages after the birth, and at the end with the last rites performed by his son after he leaves the body. Now, in this world, these samskaras are performed only to human beings out of 84 lakhs of living beings, because the life of human beings is so great that the human body, this Manava Upadhi, alone is capable of getting moksha, liberation. If a Jivatma is born as a bird or an animal, it just enjoys the good or bad fruits which they have to enjoy with that body, with that Upadhi. The birds and animals do not have the power either to study the scriptures or to understand them or to recite the mantras, listening to pravachanas, do worship or meditation or anything to get liberation. Though these, there may be a few exceptions, we know from the scriptures. Such cases as Gajendra in Gajendra Mokshana, then Sri Kala Hastiswara, Sri Kala and Hasti, they got moksha, though they are different upadhis other than human. So even with that, with such upadhi, the jiva with jiva samskara can attain moksha. Now, Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham, it is said. So, after several births, the Jiva gets human body, which got the capacity to get liberation from the chains of birth and death. When such a rare body is going to come, then with several samskarams, that body should be purified. Even before the Jiva enters a mother's womb, these samskaras start and continue after taking birth. Parents perform these samskaras. Afterwards, the jiva has to lead spiritual life with proper samskaras and should try to reach the goal of human life, that is to get moksha. After completing the life, that is after living for full span of life, when the jiva leaves the body, then his son performs the last samskara, anchesti samskara to him. While the jiva is in the womb of the mother, then he experiences the consequences of his or her, its misdeeds done in previous births. That is called as Garbhavasa Naraka. That is also like that of the sufferings at the Naraka, hell. When a living creature dies and leaves the body, in order to get human body and be born as a human being, he has to wait a very long time. That Jivatma has to take the form of raindrop, fall on the crops, sprout as a plant, and turn into grain, reach the stomach of a man who eats it, and should turn into virya and enter into mother's womb, suffering a lot in the dark, congested place, floating on waters there. Getting food from the mother, it has to grow with all the limbs, body parts, sense organs, brain and life, fully matured and empowered to live on the earth, and then comes out of the womb of the mother safely. Our Shastras and Puranas say that the Jiva, while staying at mother's womb, prays God crying and lamenting with remorse. Oh God, I cannot bear this suffering. Kindly get me out of this place carefully. I will not commit any more sins. I will walk on the way you showed us, you gave us. The Jiva remembers his past lives while in the womb of the mother. That is why he regrets and remorse. But Garbhopanishad and Garuda Mahapurana, they speak, and others also, they speak about different stages of Garbhastha Pindas and also the Gatis, the Jivas, and the results of the good and bad deeds done by the Jivas, etc. All these are described there. The offspring born may be a Medhavi or a great soul or a talented person, or he may lead just a normal life as all of us, like an ordinary person. Whoever may the Atma be, the Jiva be. But before the Jiva enters the womb of the mother's womb will be purified and cleaned with certain Vedic mantras. If we have to enter into a house to live, we clean the house first, make it fit to reside, and then enter into it. Similarly, Jiva also, before he enters into the mother's womb, elders make that womb of the mother, the house of that baby, pure and clean, so that a good soul, Atma, Jivatma, can enter into that and born as a child to them. The samskaras done to the mother before the birth of a child are 3. After the birth of a baby, 12 samskaras have to be done by the couple, that is mother and father, to their child. After leading full life here on the earth, when the jiva leaves the body, his son has to do anchesti. This process of purification is called sacrament. These are called as Shodasa Samskaras. The parents of Vathu and Vara, the couple, would be mother and father, two who become later mother and father, their son, that is their the people, that is 3 generations people are involved in performing these samskaras along with the master Acharya. Gautama Maharshi said in Dharma Shastra Granthas that there are total 40 samskaras, Chatwarinshat samskaraha. Some others said that there are 48 samskaras. But out of them, we all are performing Shodasa samskaras, 16 in number. They are mentioned in Gruhya Sutras. We are doing all these Shodasa samskaras compulsorily in our lives. We all, the Hindus, are observing them with the same scientific approach, but 1 or 2 may vary a little depending on the region, the place where they stay, and sutras which they follow, and Vedas to which they belong. Whatever methods are observed by our ancestors in the olden days, in them our perfect health, then scientific method, Shastriyata, and Vaijnanikata are mixed with spiritual well-being of the soul. Now, in this modern age, people developed a lot of, that is a lot scientifically developed, and in connection with medical sciences, much research is going on, and so advanced equipments have come nowadays. So certain changes entered into them, our samskaras also, yet most of us are following all these Shodas samskaras in our lives. These Shodas samskaras are performed to girls and boys, men and women, but 1 or 2 are meant specifically for boys and for girls separately. All other samskaras are common to all. Just as the moon, when shines with 16 kalas, is considered as full moon, similarly, the man becomes perfect with Shodasa samskaras. The one who undergoes them leads a cultured life, dignified, cultured, and civilized life, and gets the possibility of liberation if he is a mumukshu. What is meant by doing these samskaras can be understood like this. Suppose a dirty copper bowl or a brass plate is there, then to remove its dirt, what we do, we apply tamarind with salt to it and then rub it well with the brick powder in the olden days as we used to do, then rinse in water and clean the dirt. Then they glow and shine with luster as if they are new. But nowadays, in present days, we are cleaning them with a certain powder called as pitambari. Pitambaram makes them shine a lot using the scrubbers. Similarly, to remove the dirt and impurities of the previous births of the jivas, the upadhis should be purified with certain mantras and rituals. Then the jiva, which is in that upadhi, gets purified, and the jiva gets physical, mental, and spiritual purification. So these Shodasa samskaras have to be performed by all human beings. For all human beings, these rituals are as important as that of Varnasrama dharmas. Though nowadays we are not following as they used to do in the olden days, but still almost all of us are following these varnasrama dharmas. Vanaprastha while staying at the house, and sannyasa mentally, manasika. These are the basis of Vedic way of life. Our social life depends on these. Mental intentions and thoughts are very important for the development of human life. The effect of our thoughts is on the deeds we do. Results will come according to the deeds we do, the actions we do. Getting best birth or getting liberation would become possible with these samskaras by observing them. Therefore, sages prescribed these rituals for the physical, mental, and spiritual purification. It has become our custom to observe these rituals with great fervor, which are auspicious for the development of unborn or newly born child. In addition to purifying the baby, these rituals, because they are being performed as a festival, the joy of the parents and relatives will bring happiness, and even they become happy and auspicious. The greatness of these rituals is to unite all the Hindus of Bharata Desha, Asetu Himachala. All these samskaras must be practiced by people born on any part of our pious motherland, Bharata Desha. These samskaras destroy evil in men, inflict super qualities, make them meritorious and befitting to get liberation, the final aim of life. Let all of us learn briefly about the Shodasa Samskaras we are practicing in our lives. Because in detail, it may take hours together and days together. We are always going only the essence of it, taking just the gist, in fact. Besides these Shodasa Samskaras, there are so many other Samskaras. They say the Panchamaha Yajnas are Samskaras. Sapta Soma Samskaras, Sapta Havir Yajnas, Sapta Paka Yajnas are also called as Samskaras. In Apastamba Gruhya Sutras, Sri Haradattacharya commented that Shodasa Samskaras are called as Paka Yajna Samskaras. He also said that Paka Yajna means prashasta, excellent, best. It is said thus in Harita Smruti, Samskaraha Dvividhaha, Brahmaha तथा च हारीतः द्विविधो हि संस्कारो भवति ब्राह्मो दैवस्य पाकयज्ञः सोमयागादयः दैवं संस्काराः गर्भाधानादयः ब्राह्म संस्काराः. The following are Shodasa Samskaras: Garbhadhana, Pumsavana, Simanta. These three are to be performed to the mother before the birth of a child by her mother and mother-in-law and father-in-law. Now, fourth one, Jata Karma, then Namakarana, Nishkramana, Annaprasana, Chuda Karma, Karnavedha, Aksharabhyasam, Upanayanam, Samavartanam or Snataka. Keishanta Samskara for boys, Palika Rajaswala Samskara, Veda Vrataha or Brahma Vrataha, Brahma Yajnaka. Then 15th one, Vivaha Samskara and Ancheshti Samskara, the last rites. Now first one, Garbhadhana Samskara. This ritual is the first among Shodasa Samskaras. After the marriage is celebrated, then the fourth day night, the parents of both bride and bridegroom will get it done to the newly wedded couple. This can be called as conception ceremony. This would be done only once in the life. Actually, why people get married is only for getting children. Prajayai Gruhamedhinam, for the protection of the lineage, the Vamsha. People have to get married in order to get virtuous and responsible children, to keep up the dynasty, pay off the oblations to Pitrudevatas, forefathers who left their bodies to follow and complete the works started by the father and left incomplete. That is, the works which have been started by the father have to be completed by the son as duty. So finally, to perform the last rites to his mother and father. So for all these reasons, we have to get children. For getting children, we have to get married. So by all these samskaras, they pave the way for them to get liberation. So the ritual done to purify the womb of the mother, allowing a good living being, Jivatma, to enter and grow in such a fertile form is called as Garbhadhana Samskara, sacrament of purifying the womb with most powerful mantras. The union of wife and husband to give birth to a child is described in Taittiriya Upanishad as Mahasamhita. One of the 5 Mahasamhitas is Adhiprajam, Mata Purva Rupam, Pita Uttara Rupam, Preja Santhihi, Prejananagum Santhanam, Ityadhiprajam. So even that process is considered as a very holy and pious sacrament. In our tradition, Veda Samskruti, even this Santanotpatti is treated as yajna, as great and pious as doing a sacrifice. It is an integral part of Vedic life. When the minds and feelings of wife and husband come together, when both are happy and willing, then their union gives birth to healthy and virtuous children. Otherwise, it may happen as it occurred in case of the births of Dhritarashtra and Panduraja. Amba closed the eyes on seeing Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi, who came to give her a son, and so she got a son who is blind by birth, Dhritarashtra. Ambalika shivered with fear on seeing Vedavyasa, so she gave birth to Panduraja with Panduroga. The servant maid of Amba received Sri Vedavyasa Maharshi with great utmost honor, respect, and served him with devotion. So she gave birth to Vidura, the most virtuous and knowledgeable person, who is an embodiment of Dharma. So all these we have to know, because how we have to behave in the life, we should learn from them. When both spouses, that is wife and husband, are in love with each other and have high ambitions, then they will get very good children. The priest with the chanting of holy mantras purifies and makes the couple powerful and blesses them to get Sat Santana. The parents also bless their children with their love in the heart, which brings them prosperity. In our Samskruti, in our Sanaatana Dharma, one should get married only for getting children and thereby to become free from Pitru Runa. That is why the union of wife and husband is treated as a most pious ritual like yajna. Now, second one is Pumsavana Samskara. This is second Samskara. This Samskara is performed only for first progeny, that is for first pregnancy. It is that Samskara by which the Garbhastha Pinda, the fetus, turns into a male child. This Samskara should be performed during the first 10 days of the 3rd month of the pregnancy. From the 3rd month onwards, the formation of limbs of the body of the baby starts to take place in the womb. So, for the sake of its protection, this Pumsavana sacrament is prescribed. On this occasion, on an auspicious day, the couple perform the yajna ritual through Putrakameshti mantras mentioned in Atharva Veda. Husband pleases his wife by giving fruits and flowers to her. Together, the couple decide to behave in the way by which the fetus would be protected. The couple keep fasting all the day till night. During night, they squeeze the germinated banyan seeds and the juice will be put in the nostrils of the pregnant lady with the chanting of mantras. The scriptures say that by doing so, a son would be born who would be very healthy and strong. They mix the fruits of banyan tree means marichettu as we say in Telugu, with black grams, that is minumulu, and barley, yavalu we say, and make her see the smell of them together. Later, they cook with black grams and barley powder and make her eat that. By eating that, the power to protect the fetus increases and the embryo will grow properly. The living being born with best gross body, subtle body, and causal body can attain salvation with proper sadhana. It must be realized that all these rituals will guide a person towards the direction of our final aim of life. Now, third one is Srimantam or Simantonayanam. This rite is a ceremony in which the parents of the pregnant girl come to her in-laws' house during the 5th month or 7th month or even 9th month of the pregnancy, according to their convenience and situations, perform the ritual Simantam and take their daughter along with them to their house for delivery. In connection with this sacrament, on an auspicious day, the couple should take holy head bath, Abhyangana Snana, applying oil, sesame oil, and then worship the family deities. The husband should look at his face in a vessel filled with pure water or pure cow ghee and ask his wife what she is seeing. While seeing the reflection of her husband's face, she has to say that she is looking at their offspring, at their child. Atma vai putra namasi. It is understood that the father is taking birth as the son. On that day, the husband himself should comb the hair of his wife, parting of the hair from the forehead. The pregnant wife will be enjoying the Simantonayana festival done to her. He would braid her hair into coils, that is jada, and decorate with flower garland. He should comb the hair with the thorn of the hedgehog, that is mullapandi we say, and draw with that thorn a straight line from the navel of the wife to the upper part of the head up to Sahasrara. Doing so will stimulate her nervous system very nicely and appropriately. It makes it easier for the baby to be born normally without the necessity of any operation, cesarean, etc. This is one of the most important rituals performed for pregnant women because it is for the well-being of the child to be born. On that auspicious day, the husband advises or preaches the Ishtadevata mantra to her, to his wife. That is, to her mantropadesha would be given to her by her husband. Until then, he is her husband and friend. Now, by giving this mantropadesha, he becomes the guru and mentor to her. From then onwards, she starts chanting that mantra throughout her life and will gain divine power. As a result of that, the child would be born with devotion and becomes cultured. This gives the child mental refreshment and refinement while still in the womb of the mother. This ritual is performed for the health and well-being of the mother and for the longevity of the unborn child. It is essential for the mother to be physically and mentally healthy. This Simanta Utsava would be performed as a social festival and gives happiness to the mother. So it is considered as the most important among these three, Garbhadana, Pumsavana and Simanta. Now the mother and mother-in-law, sisters, sister-in-laws, nieces, friends and relatives, all of them together make her sit in a chair comfortably, put kumkuma on her forehead, smear her feet with turmeric and keep parani, then apply sandalwood paste to the neck, put flowers on her head, hair, then put bangles to both her hands. Putting bangles is most important in this festival. The bangles should be either 19 or 21 to right hand and one less to the left hand. These bangles stimulate the nervous system and delivery would be normal. Then her mother fills her lap, this girl's lap, with fruits, flowers, sweets. She also fills her lap with vodibiyam, as we say, the rice with pesarpappu, we say. Then she pours a certain quantity, that is, vodibiyam means pouring certain quantity of rice and green gram seeds and pesarpappu, as we said. And then she keeps chalimidi, as we say, it is for particularly for Andhras, on her lap. Keeping this chalimidi, we say, is for the kadupu chalava, we say that is for the safety of the stomach, and that is the person. This chalimidi is made with rice flour mixed with jaggery and ghee. The ladies give harati to her and bless her. Later on, all the relatives, including father, brothers, grandparents, and all other relatives, they sprinkle akshatas over her head and bless her to give birth to a nice child, fruit-like child. Akshatas are made with the mixture of rice with turmeric and a little kunkuma and a little ghee. Rice are favorable grains to moon. The moon is Manakaraka. So the mind will be cool, calm, and happy with this. Turmeric and kunkuma are auspicious objects. They bring auspiciousness to all of us, to the house where it is performed. They give auspiciousness to all those who attended the function. The unborn child would be born with the qualities of elegancy, beauty, health, and virtues. So these three rites, the Garbhadhana, Pumsavana, and Simanta, are performed before the birth of a child for the health and longevity of the mother, father, and the baby to be born by the parents of both of them. Out of these three, Simanta is considered as the most important one. Now, fourth, Jata Karma. Jata Karma is a word made with a combination of two words, Jata and Karma. Jana, Ja, to take birth, is the root of Jata, the word. The word Jata is formed from the root Ja, to which Ta Pratyaya is added. So, Jata Karma is the first ritual done to the child after its birth. It is the first ritual which brings the newly born child in contact with human life. It is performed to reduce the risk of swallowing the amniotic liquid water called as Vamaniru while in the womb, and to increase longevity, intellect, and luster of the child. The rituals Pumsavana and Simanta are performed with the intention that the delivery should be normal and the baby should come out safely and easily. But sometimes the baby in the womb turns crosswise or puts intestines over the neck. Nowadays, the pregnant women, women are admitted into hospitals and doctors are taking care of them. But in the olden days, they used to know this just by holding the pulse of that lady. At that time, her father or father-in-law, they used to chant certain Vedic mantras sitting outside the delivery room. The mantras have such a power that the mantras in the Jatakarma Sutra, Suktas, Jatakarma Suktas, they say that if this sort of situation arises, then these mantras will make the delivery normal. And also, certain one mantra of Jatakarma Sukta says that in such situations, her husband should sit near her, giving her courage, and he should loosen the side bones of her stomach. Certain remedies also are given to face such situations. The stem of sunflower plant should be grinded and be used properly. Then that baby in the womb will be become normal and comes out safely. That is, delivery occurs normally. Normally, the nurse called as Mantrasani helps in delivery in the olden days. Nowadays, nurses are there and doctors and hospitals are there. Shastra says that while the baby is coming out, when the head comes out and nose is seen, immediately that time should be noted down as the birth time of the child. Depending on that time, the Jataka Chakra of the baby would be written by the astrologer. As soon as the baby is born, immediately the navel cord is cut. While the baby is in mother's womb, baby gets food through the navel cord only. Now, after delivery, that umbilical cord which connects the mother to the baby is cut and detached, and it protrudes, which slowly merges and the navel becomes normal. That umbilical cord has the power to reduce the future illnesses of the baby if at all she or he gets in future. It is called as the ambulatory cord in medical terms. It is preserved in a silver tube or copper tube with a lid made into an amulet, tayattu as we say. And on 11th day after the holy bath, that amulet is to be tied on the baby's waist. Nowadays, these umbilical cords are being preserved in a certain medical banks, charging nearly 50,000 or 70,000 or 80 even for preservation of it. People are paying that amount for preserving them. Then, if at all any necessity comes, they take that from that bank. In fact, what our ancestors did is the correct method. That valuable cord should readily be kept available on the body of the baby safely in the form of amulet, tayattu. If at all any necessity arises, immediately they can get it. From the moment the baby's navel cord is cut, the jata ashaucha, impurity of the birth, occurs to the parents and relatives, those who are connected with that vamsha. That and that jata ashaucha will be for 10 days. On the 11th day, auspicious bath, Mangala Snana, would be given to the baby and the mother, which is called as Puriti Snanam. Before the commencement of jata ashaucha, before the birth of the child, intending the welfare of the child and development of the dynasty, Vamsha Unnati, the father should give Dasha Danas or Shodasa Danas to the Vardi people, should give Godana and also give Dhana Dhanyas for the livelihood of Sad Brahmanas. When Sri Krishna Paramatma was born, then Vasudeva, the father of Sri Krishna Paramatma, on seeing the face of that wonderful child, he got harpilated with immense joy, happiness. Then there at that time, he could not do Sachela Snana, which is there in the Shastras. That is, which is prescribed in the Shastras. So, in the tears of joy and happiness, he dipped deep and mentally donated 10,000 healthy, milky cows with the calves to the Brahmins, and thought that he would give dana of these cows when he would be released from that jail, from these bondages of the jail. At Repalle, when Nanda Maharaja heard that he got a child, immediately he took holy bath with the same dress called as Sachela Snana, became pure, wearing new pious silk cloths. He did Swasti Punyaha Vachakas. He decorated 2 lakhs of milky cows and donated them along with the calves to the Vardi Brahmins. Shastra says, as soon as the father hears about the birth of a child, should immediately do Sachela Snana. Putre jate pitu snanam sachelastu vidhiyate. Yavan na bhijyate nalam tavan napnoti sutakam. Chinne nale tatah paschat sutakastu vidhiyate. Apastamba Gruhya Sutra say that as soon as the son is born, the father can see the face of the son. By seeing the face of the son, he would be relieved of Pitru Runa. The ancestors and forefathers become very happy. Jate matre tu kumarasya mukhamapyavalokayet. Nad vimuchyate pita putrasya mukhadarshanat. It is the duty of the mother and the father to see that the child is born safe and sound, healthy, and without any defects. So they should always be praying God for good, for getting good children, and then for keeping up the lineage. The moment they hear about the news that the jiva entered the womb of the mother. So the jata karma should be performed in order to see that any balagrahas do not overpower the child. That is to prevent the child from getting infected with planetary problems. Elders speak about 12 kinds of naraka bathas. The jiva to stay in mother's womb is one such batha. It is said to be very sad. Jata karma is the first Vedic rite performed when the baby is just about to born and just after the birth of the child. When the embryo stays in mother's womb, what all defects occur to the baby on account of swallowing that water, etc., are to be removed, and auspiciousness should come to the child and parents. So they perform this jata karma. Garthanivasa dosha nivaranartham, dushtagraha pida nivaranartham, shishu metho vrutyartham, ayur arogya siddhyartham, jata karma karishyami. With this sankalpa, father keeps the child on his lap and performs the karma, which is called as jata karma. Jata ashaucha means for 10 days, the ashaucha impurity stays. On the 11th day, according to the scriptures, that leaves, and then they become auspicious. Now, on the 11th day, the leaves of neem tree and vavila tree should be mixed in water and boiled thoroughly. Then cold water should be added to that. Then sesame seeds oil should be applied to the body of the baby and the mother, who is called as a balintaralu at that time, a woman in childhood, we say. Then their body should be rubbed with the paste of the powder called as nalugupindi, we say, a fragrant paste, and then they should be bathed over the head. After the Abhyangana Mangala Snana, the smoke of the Sambrani and Gugilam should be applied to their bodies and hair. They should wear new clothes. First, they should give such a bath to the baby, and the baby should be kept in a new chata, as we say. That is with which nowadays they are not at all using this. But in the olden days, not only in the olden days, even we used to use this chata for purifying the rice or any other grains. They should keep a smooth sari in that chata, and they should make, that is mostly this chata will be made with palm tree leaves, we can say. Then that baby should be kept there on that cloth which is stretched on the chata. Then actually this would be made with either palm tree leaves, or some other leaves which were used in those days for cleaning these rice, we say. But nowadays it is not at all used. So when these chatas are not available, they are nowadays keeping this baby to follow this custom, keeping the banyan tree leaves sometimes, or even plantain tree leaves, stretching the cloth there, they are keeping. Till the mother's bath is over, the baby would be taken care by grandmother or uncles or somebody else. On the 11th day onwards, they can wear stitched cloths to the baby. Collyrium can be applied to the eyes. Then chadu, we say for this bindu. Chadu, a particular black colored bindu will be, that would be prepared with rice powder with a particular technique. That should be kept as the bottu, as we say, the bindu, and also they keep it on the forehead, and also can put a mark on the cheek to prevent bad sight. We call it as buggachikka. If there is any defect in the birth star of the child, then father should see the reflection of the face of the child in a bowl filled with sesame oil. After this process, mother and father should sit on wooden planks called pitalu, as we say, keeping the child on the lap, and worship Ganapati. Ganapati puja should be done. Then Kula Devatas and Ishta Devatas, they should worship with Shodasopachara puja, and worship Pitru Devatas and salute them. Then the father should keep the child in his lap. Meanwhile, Madhuparka should be prepared by the parents in a small silver or gold bowl. A little quantity of cow ghee and honey should be mixed. Father would take a pure gold ring without any stones, dip that in that mixture, and that should be rubbed on the lips of or the tongue of the child 3 times. This helps the baby to develop intelligence and luster. Achira Khrutam, they say. So by this, the longevity will be increased by the ghee and luster will be increased by honey. By putting this mixture of cow ghee and honey, whatever dirt, the mala or kapha, etc. is there in the stomach of the baby, that would come out. The Brahmagaru or the priest should make the couple perform certain Agnikarya and Homa with the chanting of mantras. The father should put samithas, samithalu as we say, the firewood in the Yajna Kunda, Vedic altar, and then lit the fire and following the instructions of the priest should do Homa Kratu, offering cow ghee and oblations, etc. into the fire as they offer them to the fire to pass it on to the gods through that Agni Dutam Runamake, we say. Through the fire, they pass on these offerings to the gods, wishing the well-being of the baby and welfare of all of them and to their dynasty. After completing this worship, the couple should give dakshina, Bhuri dakshina, along with tambulam to the priest, do pranamams to him and get his blessings. The priest blesses the child and parents with the mantras, Shatamanam Bhavati Setayu Purushaha Setendriyaha Ayushevendriye Pratitishthati. All the people present there bless the child and parents with akshatas. Harati would be given to them and then they get up from the seats. The mother gives milk to the baby and then on Jyeshta Nakshatra or Aslesha Nakshatra, Aslesha, this sort of stars, these functions should be performed. And also, in case of suppose the baby takes birth on Jyeshta Nakshatra or Aslesha Nakshatra, then Nakshatra Japa should be done. And sometimes, suppose the child takes birth in Jyeshta Nakshatra, the scriptures and elders say that we have to do Gundala Shanti and Shanti Homas, or the parents of the child, they also can perform them. And mostly keeping the priests, they have to do all these Shanti Homas and Nakshatra Japas on those days and other days also on any auspicious day to remove those gandas and the defects also. Then by this, good health will come to the baby and graha doshas will be removed. They should do plenty of annadana on those days when they do this nakshatra japas and these shanti homas, they have to do annadana. They should feed as many people as possible and donate to Brahmins to their satisfaction and get their wholehearted blessings to remove these doshas and the stars. This very effective Jata Karma removes all the defects and brings prosperity. Then Namakarana Samskara. Naming ceremony, cradle ceremony we say. Bala Sare, Barasala also we say. So many names are there for this Namakarana Mahotsava Samskara. This Samskara is done mostly as a festival with all the relatives and friends. When the child is born, it will not have any name till Namakarana is done to the baby to give an identity. Till that time, that baby is called as a certain person's baby. Thus, by either mother's or father's name, that baby would be recognized. So, a very good name should be given to the newborn baby for worldly affairs. The baby must have a name to be called by parents and relatives to get admission into schools. After growing, that baby should gain good name and fame. So she needs a name to get name. For that, the baby needs the name. And also while doing Nitya Puja or practicing these Vedic rituals, the baby, that is he or she, has to say his Pravara Gotra Namas. So but the baby needs certain name. At that time of marriage also, they need that name. While doing Pitrukaryas, they have to say their name. The name is very essential, because at Pitrukaryas, we have to say the names of Pitru, Pitamaha and Prapitamaha. So every individual needs the name, needs a certain name, either for buying or selling properties also. We need the name. The name is essential for education, doing a job, then for dealing with the members of society, etc. The ritual performed by the parents to give such an important name to their child, offspring, is called as Namakarana. Namakarana Mahotsava. Thus, giving name on an auspicious day will result in the growth of Ayush, Yashash, and Aishwarya, the longevity, prosperity, and fame. Actually, why parents name their children? For this, our Shastra answers. It is for the parents to obtain moksha, salvation. The story of Ajamila is an example for this. The purpose and fortune of getting this baby is attainment of moksha. Even after getting human body, this Manava Upadhi, if we do not try to get mukti, certainly we are losers. Mahati vinastihi, says the Upanishad. People spend their entire span of lifetime completely engaging themselves in several works, duties, worldly pursuits. They might be doing several dharmika karyakramas also. They might have given donations and performed religious rites, etc. also. But mostly nobody remembers God, the name of God, at the time of leaving the body. Automatically they remember their children. They want to see the faces of their children and talk to them, and they call them with their names to come close to them. At the last moment of leaving their body, whatever is thought of and whomever they remember after death, they take next birth according to their thoughts at last breath. For this, the authority is Gita Sloka. Sri Krishna Paramatma said like this: Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalebaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Thinking of whom and what in the last moments one leaves the body, one would get a birth favorable to that feeling only, because he is having that feeling in the mind. If one, while thinking the name of Bhagavan as Shiva, Rama, or Krishna, or Vishnu, would certainly obtain God only after leaving this body and will not be born again. But if a person leaves the body thinking of any that is worldly activities and worldly things, then they will be born as related to that only. Just as Jadabharata died while thinking of a deer, was born as a deer, though he was a very great, in fact, Brahmajnani, he almost reached the state of Brahmajnani, just a step behind. And even at that stage, he got this moha of deer and got the birth of a deer. But because of his samskara, then he remembered the past and he got liberated through that upadhi of the deer. So we should keep the names of gods to our children and utter their names every minute with love and affection. Even then, we will get the fruit of remembering and thinking of God's name. Best example is Ajamila. Ajamila was born in a Sadbrahman family, studied Veda Shastras. He always used to serve his parents and gurus. His parents got him married to a very virtuous, befitting, handsome girl. The couple was very happy, leading righteous life. But due to his misfortune, one day he happened to see a very bad incident that occurred in his life. with passion, he married a woman immorally and became corrupt by his corrupt of his caste, neglected his wife. She is a kulastri. That is really a great sin to neglect her. And also he neglected his parents, and he abstained from dharma. He got children through that woman whom he married second time. Due to the fortune of his previous deeds, he kept the name to his lost son as Narayana. He is very much attached to him. Last time, in that way, his lifetime passed away. He was on deathbed. Then he saw Yamapatas by his side standing. He knew that they will take him, his Atma, the moment he leaves the body. He wanted to see his dear son. And so he called loudly, Narayana, Narayana, please come to my rescue, Narayana. Then, though he called his son Narayana with Putra Moha and love, yet immediately Vishnudutas came there. Yamapata said to Vishnudutas, why have you come here? He is a sinner, very wicked, unrighteous person. Then Vishnudutas said, maybe that is correct. Even then, because he remembered Lord Narayana now at this last moment and called him loudly, we came here. So there is no work for you. You please go away. He need not have to come to Narakaloka along with you. Then Yamapatas went away. Then immediately even Vishnudutas disappeared. Ajamila has not yet lost his life. He was observing all this and immediately got enlightened. He repented a lot for his behavior. He thought, Yamadutas are ready to take me to hell to punish me for my unrighteous behavior. Just once I uttered Narayana and Vishnudutas came to my rescue. If once I uttered Narayana, this is the result, then how fortunate it would have been if I pray God every day and spent my whole life righteously as I used to do before coming in contact with this lady. So prayed God wholeheartedly, and then he lamented in his heart. And he prayed God to give him an opportunity to correct himself, to uplift his life, to correct his misdeeds and misbehavior. God gave him the chance, a chance not only because he wept with remorse, but also because since his birth, he was dharmika, leading a very pious life, studied Vedas, served his parents and gurus, behaved well with his dharmapatni. That punya came to his rescue now because he wanted to correct himself in this very birth, paschatapa, and he wanted to do prayaschitta. So he got that opportunity. His life did not yet, that is his prana did not yet leave him. Slowly he recovered. Now the passion for this illegal wife and children has completely gone away. He left all of them. He went on pilgrimage, performed religious rites and did continuously Daivanama, Smarana and Japa. Finally got liberated. He got mukti. So by this story, one may wonder how is it possible to get mukti spending the whole lifetime unrighteously and just by calling the name of God once or twice. In fact, he did not call God, he shouted his son only, son's name, whose name is Narayana. For this, we already got the answer. For this, we should remember many slokas of Bhagavad Gita also. The verses Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam, we have now only got it. And then also, Sri Krishna Paramatma said, Api chet sudura atmo, bhajate mam ananya bhak, sadhureva samantavyo, samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even though he may be sudurachara, yet if he gets paschatapa, then with complete immense bhakti, if he prays me, he will be considered as a nice righteous person. The secret is this. And the secret, in fact, is the arti in the, that is the arti in the heart and voice of Ajamila, and the meritorious deeds he performed in the previous stage of his life. They came to his rescue, and because he was actually worthy of getting moksha, so he got it. Now, his repentance gave him the chance for him to get moksha. This is the strength of his vasanas and previous samskaras. Paschatapa and prayaschitta are so great that what all sins he did and his unrighteous behavior got nullified by them. His strong will to acquire Narayana was fulfilled. Now, by calling his name Narayana, God gave him an opportunity to correct himself. So, we need to name our children the divine names to get merit, punya, by uttering God's names as the names of our children and to utter at the last breath of us. Now, we should know how this method of naming has come and who named whom for the first time. Actually, Vedamata called Parabrahman as Parabrahman. Para means beyond. Brahman means that which is pervading everywhere. Brumh Vistarane, to expand, is the root for the word Brahman. That power which is pervading the whole universe is Brahman. One which is even beyond is Parabrahman. Prajapati Chaturmukha Brahma started to do his work of creation. A superpower appeared in front of him. While watching, it was divided into 8 parts. God Brahmadeva named all those 8 forms with 8 names as Rudra, Sharva, Pasupati, Ugra, Ashati, Pava, Mahadeva and Ishana. These 8 names are called as original 8 Shivarupas, original octaves. Names bring good fortune to all living beings. Jatanantarameva namakaranam ekadashahne sputam dashamyam uttitayam snatayam putrasya nama dadati. The newborn baby can be named at the time of Jata Karma on 11th day while performing Jata Karma, Grahadosha Nivarana Puja, etc. Or Namakarana can be done on 21st day or 25th or 29th day of the first month. According to the astronomical science, seeing the good star for both the father and baby, seeing an auspicious day, this Namakarana and cradle ceremony can be celebrated as Balasara or Barasala. The procedure of giving Sara to the baby. Dharma Shastra says, Ayur Varchopi Vrithischa Siddhir Vyavakrutes Tatha Nama Karma Phalantvetat Samuttistam Manishipihi. We perform this Namakarana Mahotsava to the newly born baby with the intention that the child should grow up with strength, vigor, luster, and methas, intelligence, and give and live long and give good name and fame to the dynasty. So we should keep such a good, befitting, and worthy, significant name we should keep to our babies. The parents of the baby should first pray for the blessings of Maharshis, gods, ancestors of their dynasty. Then worship fire god, worshipping and pleasing gods through fire god by offering in the fire the ahutis for the gods. Then the father of the baby should pray and seek the permission of Sabha Sadas who attended that function there, who are present there, to name the child and announce the name. Sabha Satpurusha Mache Nama Prakatana Sichyartham Anumatim Prarthayami. Those who are present there will permit him. Then he should salute them as Sabhayai Namaka. And then according to the procedure of the Shastras as done by the priest, he should name the child, tell the name 3 times in the right ear of the child, and then announce the name loudly to Sabhasadas. Names are given based on the baby's date of birth, month, date, star, and in which the pada of the star the baby was born. In this way, name of the month, Masa Nama, will be given first. The Nama Nakshatra will be given according to the star and pada in which the baby was born, is born. And the letters given in Shastra, with which letter the name starts, we should see those letters and keep the name. The priest will do that. Then Vyavahara Nama along with the names of Devatas or grandfather, etc. And fix a Vyavahara Nama and name the baby with that. The child will be finally called with the last part of Vyavahara Nama. Akshamalik Upanishad gives the meanings and greatness of all letters and their Adhisthana Devatas. In our Panchangam, we can see the letters with which the names have to start according to the pada of the birth star of the baby. Accordingly, the priest would tell the Masa Nama and Nakshatra Nama. By listening to these names, one can easily know in which month and which star, in which pada the baby is born. At that time of setting marriage, we can see, basing on this, whether the horoscopes of bride and bridegroom are matching or not. Now coming to the letters of stars, for example, if the baby is born on Ashwini star, the name should start with the letters Chu, Che, Cho, La for 4 padas in a row. Similarly, there are letters for 4 padas of all 27 stars, total 108. Anybody has to take birth in any of these stars only. So we pray God with Ashtottara Shatanamas. Now the Masanamas for both girls and boys were given in Panchangam. For girls, the following are the 12 names given for 12 months. Marga Sirshe cha Vagdevi, Pushye Padmavati Tatha, Sridevi Chapi Savitri, Bhumihi Kalyaniki Tatha, Satyabhama Punyavati, Rupavati, Indumatyapi, Chandravati cha Lakshmi cha, Stri Nama Karaneshu cha. Then for the boys, the names are given as Krishnaha, Anantaha, Achyutaha, Chakri, Vaikunthaha, Atha Janardanaha, Upendraha, Yajnapurusho, Vasudevas Tatha, Harihi, Yogishaha, Pundarikaksho, Masanamani, Anukramat. These are the 12 names for 12 months for the babies. If the Namakarana Samskara is celebrated either on 11th day or 21st day, we need not have to specially and particularly see for auspicious day and Shubha Muhurta. But otherwise, we have to see a good Muhurta according to the nakshatra of the father and baby first, and then the Tithi and Vara. These stars would be either Sampat Tara, Kshema Tara, Sadhana Tara, Mitra Tara, or Paramamitra Tara. Then that Muhurta would be good. On that auspicious day, father, mother, and child should take auspicious holy bath, Mangala Snana, and wear new clothes. The family priest or some other Purohita should be employed to perform this ritual. All relatives and friends should be arriving on that day. The parents keeping the child on the lap should sit on wooden planks, Pitalu as we say, and worship of gods as per the instructions of Purohita or Brahmagaru, as we say. For performing any religious rites in our tradition, usually the wife should sit on the left side to her husband. But for this Namakarana, the wife should sit to the right of to her husband. The father keeps the baby on his lap and does Namakarana. A silver plate with full of rice should be taken, keeping a betel leaf in the middle of that plate. Ganapati made with turmeric should be kept on betel leaf after putting a little turmeric and kunkuma on that leaf. Then kunkuma should be kept to the Ganapati and should do Shodasopachara puja to Ganapati. After Naivedya, Harati and Mantra Pushpa, Punah puja should be done. Then offer the puja phala to Ganapati, saying Sarvam Sri Mahaganatipati Charanara Vindarpanamastu. Then while uttering the mantra, Ganapatim Yathastanam Praveshayami Shophanartham Punaragamanaya. Ganapati should be lifted along with puja dravyas, flowers, etc. by the wife and husband together and keep it on a different plate, a different place aside. Some people perform this Vinayaka puja taking a separate small silver plate filled with rice, and after puja keep that plate aside. Now the father has to take the big silver plate filled with rice in 2 hands, holding the dartha ring to the finger, taking a golden ring without stones, should draw 2 lines in the rice with golden ring and make the rice into 3 parts. At the top of the 3 parts, that is on the first row, he should write Masanama with Sri, that is saying Masanama and says Masanama si Sri. In the second row, that is middle row, Nama Nakshatra should be written with Sri. repeating Nama Nakshatra, Nakshatra Nama, and say Nakshatra Nama is Sri. And then in the third part or at the bottom part, the Vyavahara Nama should be written with all the other desired names, including Ishtadevata or Kuladevata or grandfather's name, etc. Or if any vows are there of any gods, that name also can be written. And then Vyavahara Nama has to be written, and finally that baby would be called by that Vyavahara Nama throughout his or her life for all the worldly affairs. Father has to utter 3 times all these 3 names, saying the names of month, star, and Vyavahara Nama as Masa Nama Dhrutva, Nakshatra Nama Dhrutva, Vyavahara Nama Dhrutva, Shetayushman Bhava, Shetayushmati Bhava, Vardhasva. Then they have to bless the baby to live long, healthy, and healthy. It is known from the Dharma Shastras written by sages like Sri Gautama Maharshi, Bharadwaja Maharshi, Kanva Maharshi, etc. that the letters of the names of the baby should be even number, and of girls' names should be of odd numbers of letters. After writing the names of the child, the plate should be kept on the ground. Put pokachakkas, we say, and akshatas in 8 directions around the plate, inviting or invoking 8 forms of Paramatma, Parameswara, as Rudra, Sharva, Pasupati, Ugra, Ashati, Hava, Mahadeva, and Ishana, and pray them to give auspiciousness to all of them, to their family, baby, mother, father, and all. After worshipping these Astamurtis, he should also worship the names written in silver plate with turmeric, kumkum, and sandal paste, flowers, and akshatas, and give dhupa and show deepa to all the gods worship now, and finally give harati to them after giving naivedya. The names are the deities. They are to be worshipped. The Nama Devatas protect us. So we have to worship all Nama Devatas. Then the father has to bow down to the Sabha, saying Sabhayai Namaha. He should keep the baby on the right thigh and lift the right side of the baby slowly and utter the Nama, Nakshatra Nama. Then Nama, Masa Nama, Nakshatra Nama, and Vyavahara Nama. 3 times in the right ear of the child and bless the baby to live long. Then the father hug the baby to the heart and say the mantra, Angad Angad Sambhavasi, Hrudayad Abhijayase, Atma Vai Putra Namasi, Tvam Jiva Sharadas Shatam. Shastras say that then the father has to smell on the forehead of the baby. By smelling dust at the head, the nature, behavior, talent of the child would be known. We have Brahma Ranthra on the middle of the head, on the Madu, we say, of the head, the middle part of the head. The father should smell the head at the beginning of Papidi, here, this place, the line drawn on the forehead to make it into 2 parts. The place where the married woman keeps sindoor, and also smell at Brahmaranthra place here. When Karna is found in the golden basket and Suta got him, he saw the luster of the child, and by smelling at the head, he could know him to be Uttamakula Sanjata. Thus, when the father tells the name in the ear of the child, then the mother should tell the name in the ear of the baby, right ear of the baby, followed by near and dear relatives. Everyone should bless the child and parents, and then Mangalaharati should be given to them. Our Shastra tells that one should not tell their name, the name of Guru, wife, and elder son, and also the name of a miser. Atmanama Gurur Nama, Namati Krupanasyacha, Shreyas Kamo Nagrupniyat, Jestapatya Kalatrayog. One should not say directly his name while introducing himself to others. We should say, I am the son of so and so. Just as Sri Ramachandra says he is Dasharathi. After completing Namakarana Mahotsava, the child should be placed in the cradle. That cradle should be decorated with flower garlands. First, the mother through the hands of mother-in-law, then sister-in-laws, then her mother, sisters, all near relatives should take the baby carefully three times each. the baby from over the cradle, that is above the cradle, and from under the cradle. And finally, the mother should put the baby in the cradle, keeping the head to the east side. A toy baby should be put by the side of the baby, a palm leaf toy or any wooden toy for the protection of this baby when parents are not near. Thus, the naming ceremony should be performed. The baby sleep happily in the cradle without any disturbances. So, thus giving the name should be a worthy name, and the child also should grow befitting to his name. Swasti for today.
Okay. Dhanyavadaha. Visalakshi Mahadev. You have covered 5 Samskarams today. I think tomorrow you will continue another 4 days, I think. Yeah. So somebody was asking a question. Do we have any written material
Yes, I got.
written by Shri? Somebody was answering also. You have also got one book, madam?
I do not have any special books. I just wrote on my own.
Achha, okay, okay. The book written by Shri Dosapatti Ramakrishna and available from Gopal Book House in Kachigoda.
Okay.
CC Babu is replying it, but you will be giving them some material?
How to give them it? I do not know how all other people are giving.
Okay. So the recording itself is...
I can send it to you, and later I do not know how you can hand it over to them. I did not enter anything in my cell phone or computer or anywhere.
it is it is a manuscript. No? Okay. So B.S. Gandhi, if you are interested, then can contact Visalakshi garu. She will be able to give you the manuscript. You can take a Xerox and return it to her.
Okay.
Is it okay?
I have a suggestion. In case the manuscript is given, I'll type it, and of course it is not that immediately I can do it, but I can type it and then make it into a document and give it to VSS for circulation at the appropriate time.
Okay, that is good. So you are at Delhi.
Take photos of these papers and send it to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll do that.
So you are going to take photograph of these papers and send it to CC Babu.
Okay.
And CC Babu garu will digitize it and distribute to everybody.
Yes, sir. I can make a PDF and send it across.
Oh, that's great. Good. Okay, now let us have Prarthana and Janaganamana and close.
Yes.
So let's ask, request again HP Rao garu to do Prarthana, please.
Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pasyantu. Ma kacchat dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Saha viryankaravavahai. तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ओम शांति शांति शांति. सत्यं वद धर्मं चर सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः. गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम. नमस्कार.
Dhanyavadaha. Let us all stand up and sing Janaganamana.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्ज्वल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे। नमस्कार। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद।
Dhanyavadaha, Babu garu.
धन्यवाद।
Let us now close. Now it is past 8 o'clock.